Good morning, my name is Ricardo Stewart, and today I will be discussing the world systems theory at the local scale. We will be using the city of Jacksonville in order to understand this concept. First, let's talk a little about what the world systems theory is. The world systems theory was developed by Emanuel Wallerstein, and it attempts to explain the economic organization of the world. Basically, this concept explains why the poor get poorer and the rich get richer, which will become evident as we continue. The world systems theory has three main tiers. These tiers are core, periphery, and semi-periphery. Core areas incorporate higher levels of education, have higher salaries, and have access to more advanced technology. An example of a core region would be the United States. Periphery areas incorporate lower levels of education, receive lower salaries, and have access to less advanced technology. An example of such would be sub-Saharan Africa. Semi-periphery are areas where both processes occur. An example of this would be Mexico. Side note, although there are more periphery countries than there are core countries generate much more wealth in the world economy than the periphery. To understand the concept of the world systems theory, let's picture the core as one major service industry. This core industry exploits the semi-periphery by outsourcing its manufacturing and cheap labor to this region. The semi-periphery then exploits the periphery by outsourcing the cheap labor. As the core has the more valuable finished product, it sells the product back to other areas at a higher price than what was paid, as the finished product is worth more than its individual parts. This cycle causes each country to stay where it is ranked in the world economy, making it nearly impossible for a periphery area to improve to core, or vice versa. Another example, let's go to the feudal era. During this time, serfs were forced to work the fields for their landlords, who in turn allowed them to live on his property and paid them very low wages. While the serfs were paid, they ultimately stayed in the same status they began. They could not escape this cycle because the landlord provided them with shelter and pay, something that was hard to find and that was desperately needed. Now let's apply this theory to Jacksonville. The first thing that we need to do is rescale it. As most of the world systems theory takes place on the global scale, we need to rescale it to the local scale, as Jacksonville is a city. First, in order to apply the world systems theory to Jacksonville, we need to define which areas of Jacksonville are core, periphery, and semi-periphery. The first step that I did in completing this was to divide Jacksonville into 5 main regions: downtown, north side, east side, west side, and south side. I then collected data on factors such as landscape, types of jobs, housing value for each region, and I compared it to other regions in order to properly determine its place. First, let's take a look at downtown. Some unique jobs offered downtown are law firms and health services such as UF Health, Paget & Paget, or Wells Fargo. The salary range was calculated by taking a look at the lowest possible earnings, lowest possible job, which paid $31,000 annually. The highest paying job downtown, or highest paying type of job downtown, offers $78,000 annually. Let's look at landscape. Most houses downtown are small, uniform, and are packed close together. Many of them are apartments, and roads are not very wide. The median sales price for a house in downtown Jacksonville is $77,858. Despite its service jobs, I label downtown as a periphery. Now let's look at north side. Some unique jobs offered are real estate services and wine industry. An example of such would be Bacardi or One Immersion. The salary range is $22,000 to $139,000. Some houses are larger than others, while the rest are still small and uniform. The median sales price for a house on North Side is $130,500. I label this area as a periphery, possibly attempting to make a move to become a semi-periphery, but still a periphery for now. Now on the west side. Some unique jobs offered at West Side include industrial painter and industrial electrician. The salary range is $29,000 to $49,000. Most houses are small, close together, and uniform. Uniform means that they are made out of the same material. Most houses look alike and are made out of the same material, much like downtown. The median sales price for a house on the west side is $136,154. This area is labeled a periphery. Now let's take a look at East Side. Some unique jobs offered at East Side include car dealerships or the Jax Mayport area. Some jobs offered there are car dealership, car sales manager, car salesman, or longshoreman. The salary range is $45,000 to $61,000 annually. Houses are large, spaced out, and unique. The median sales price for a house on the east side is $165,658. This area is labeled a core. Now let's take a look at our final area, South Side. Some unique jobs offered at South Side include manufacturing and car dealerships. Salary ranges from $41,000 to $61,000. Houses are decently sized and spaced, not quite as much as East Side, but more so than the other sides that we've viewed today. The median sales price for a house in South Side is $157,135. This area is labeled as a semi-periphery. Now that we've labeled Jacksonville, parts of Jacksonville, let's apply the world systems theory. The world systems theory works pretty much the same in Jacksonville as it does on the global scale. The core areas exploit the semi-periphery, and the semi-periphery exploits the periphery. For example, let's look at the automobile industry in Jacksonville. Many of the car dealerships in Jacksonville are located on the east side, which has previously been labeled a core area. While cars are sold at these dealerships, manufacturing and labor-intensive parts of the business take place on the west side, which is a periphery area. The core area benefits more as it sells the finished product, the car, at a higher price because the car is more valuable than its individual parts. The periphery is dependent upon the core as it provides people in the periphery with much-needed jobs and technology, such as the car. Therefore, the periphery is bound to this cycle and cannot improve its status. This has been World Systems Theory at the local scale, viewing the city of Jacksonville. I hope that this helps someone understand this theory. Thank you.